Hey there, goobers and gobbers. I got even more reaction content for you guys today. You're gonna really like the first one, trust me. The last one even more. Actually watch to the end. Don't skip to the end though, please, please, please.
This bear was actually a soldier.
Oh, hell.
You see, it was 1942, and the 22nd Polish Artillery Company
should have
were
a bear
passing through
army.
the mountains of Iran on their way to the front lines to fight the Nazis. While passing through a town
Hey.
on their way, they were stopped by a young Iranian shepherd looking to trade with them for rations.
Son of
and
a
Swiss
shepherd,
Army knife.
Rolf?
When the Poles asked what he had to offer in return, the young shepherd produced a burlap sack containing an orphaned Syrian brown bear cub. You see,
Oh,
this
hell
bear's
yeah.
mother was shot by hunters, which is how he ended up in a low-tech
This is
Pokeball
crazy.
being offered as a trade deal. The Polish looked at the bear and, clearly seeing the potential for insane dad law, said,
Damn good deal.
and in the most worthwhile
That
trade
is-
deal in history, parted ways with their supplies in
What?
exchange for a f***ing Pokemon, adopting him into their ranks and naming him Wojtek. And the
Okay. This is... I love how they're cooking here, okay? I love what they're cooking here. This is a good idea. This is gonna lead to good things, okay? And, like, what are you gonna do with some food? Eat it? Okay. That's not gonna win you a war. Food's not gonna win you a war. A bear, on the other hand, will win
22nd
you a war.
immediately set about
trained
raising
bear.
this little man as a proper bear and soldier.
Maggots!
As a baby, they would feed him condensed milk out of an empty vodka bottle, as well as
hell
feeding
yes.
him on the cartoon bear diet consisting of fruit, honey, and marmalade. They also appointed a soldier as
What?
his caretaker, who wasted no time in showing Wojtek
What?
how to fit in with the rest of the army, teaching Yogi's little cousin to wave, salute, and even march.
What?
While not
Oh, hell
undergoing
nah.
rigorous military training, Wojtek
Oh,
would
hell
hang
nah.
out with the soldiers. He drank coffee with them in the morning, trained with them in the day, and when
I-
they all got
man.
faced in the evening, he would f***ing wrestle with them. Do you
Oh,
know how much
hell
a brown
yes.
bear has to love you to wrestle you?
Yeah.
On top
Damn.
of double rations, they would also feed
That-
Wojtek
that'd be
treats
fun,
in the
though,
form
no?
of beer and cigarettes. They let
What?
the bear have smoko.
Hell yes.
Eventually,
They gave the bear some ciggies, man. Nothing wrong with that. A couple of little beers with the boys and some ciggies, you know, is what it is. You know, he's one of the guys. He's freaking Wojtek. He's one of the boys. Just let him have a freaking beer or two, man.
the Army High
Wrestle.
Command heard about this and were having absolutely none of it. You see, pets were not allowed in the army, which meant
No, they're not. He's
Wojtek
not a
had
pet.
to go.
No.
Or did he? Because the 22nd Artillery Company officially enlisted him.
I'm doing
Oh,
my part.
I'm doing my
Oh,
part.
hell yes.
I'm doing my part.
Wojtek was
There
given
he
a
is.
serial number and granted the rank of private. So when confronted about the
Private
very
Wojtek.
conspicuous bear in their ranks, they simply went, "That's not a bear, that's Private Wojtek."
That's pretty.
Wojtek took his new role very
That's
seriously,
perfect.
as during the Battle of Monte Cassino in 1944, Wojtek began using his bulk to
Oh,
transport
this bear? Yes.
artillery shells and ammo to
Holy
soldiers
shit.
engaged in combat.
He's the goat.
They had a fucking resupply bear.
That's-
For his bravery,
That's the goat right there. See, he was doing his part. He was helpful. He was helpful.
he was promoted to the rank of corporal, and the 22nd changed their
Corporal
insignia
Wojtek.
to a bear carrying an artillery shell. This
Okay.
absolute unit smoked, drank, and dropped artillery on the Nazis.
He's the goat. He was promoted. Yeah, exactly. Not only was he a part of their ranks and not a pet, he ended up getting promoted to corporal. How the fuck have I ever heard of this before? He's the real World War II hero. Exactly. Wojtek was the goat. He actually did it.
Based. Australia has just found zombified bugs.
Oh, hell
That's
yeah.
right, we are closer to the
Okay, so I'm gonna quick story time. This is obviously going in the video too. I was so terrified of if this is like the mushroom virus that like infects ants and shit and pilots them like mecha. I was so convinced that this was gonna be the start of The Last of Us for us. I was so convinced this was gonna be the beginning of our Last of Us downfall. I was like, oh great. It's controlling ants. The ants are gonna like pass it on to us after it gets stronger. It's gonna go to like raccoons and stuff, and then we're gonna have zombie raccoons. Great. Now we're gonna fucking have Last of Us in real life, and we're gonna die. And I was like so anxious about this every
Walking
day.
Dead Down Under than you think. You say, just recently, a scientist by the name of
Especially because I think deer also have a very similar like parasitic like zombie disease that can happen to them, which is also very scary.
Francois Broussard made a trek out to the remote savannah of the Northern Territory with the goal of finding and cataloguing brand new species of insect unknown to science. I mean, me personally, I think we found more than enough bugs, especially considering that half of them can send me directly into the fucking soil. But what do I know, right?
Good.
Anyway, on his trip to the middle of
you gotta
nowhere,
catalog them
he
all.
stumbled across a colony of spiny savanna ants, which is a pretty normal
Also, hope
thing
you're
to
doing
find
good,
out there. However, getting closer, he noticed something a little off. You see, the main ant colony was fine, completely normal.
Yeah.
However, the several disfigured and deformed ant corpses clamped onto shoots of grass surrounding the colony like a Bug's Life version of Vlad the Inhaler. Yeah, those were significantly less normal. Broussard,
those ain't right.
mildly unsettled by the ant gore on his timeline, took samples for inspection and upon getting a closer look, realized something both really cool and really, really spooky.
Oh, God.
The ants had been overtaken by fungus.
Big old red ones.
More accurately,
Big
a
old red
previously
ones. Scary
unknown
boys.
strain of the cordyceps fungus, infamous around the globe for its ability to create zombie bugs.
Terrifying.
And the way it does it is
No!
unbelievably horrific. You see, it
It's
begins
horrible.
with a spore landing on an ant and
That's
producing a
it.
thin rope-like strand that penetrates and attaches to their exoskeleton.
It's scary.
At which point, the ant gets a little timer on his hotbar, counting down to a family reunion with his ancestors. Once inside, the fungus begins to take control of the ant's body and brain function, completely changing their behavior, replacing their colony-focused mindset with one single goal.
To get to a higher place, to destroy the ant and break it down and breed inside of it so that it can drop more spores above the ant colony, to make more zombie ants, to make more fungus, because this thing is sick.
Climb. Its fungus-riddled mind drags its rapidly deteriorating body to the closest high point, which is usually a plant, with its final act being to clamp its mandibles onto the stem in a death grip, finally succumbing to the infection and being completely consumed. Its corpse blossoming into a fully grown cordyceps fungus and raining down spores onto the rest of the colony to continue the cycle
to make
of
more
infection.
ants.
Now look, I know this fungus is found elsewhere in the world, but it's a new strain and it was found in Australia. With my luck, I'm going to be playing The Last of Us against couch-sized spiders within the fucking week.
That one's a big hell no. Because like I know about that one and I hyper fixated on that one because I used to be like a lot more anxiety ridden back in the day when it came to like world ending scenarios. Like I was hyper fixated on world ending scenarios. You know, because so like when I learned about the cordyceps fungus ants, they like terrified me for so long because I just feared that it would get like, because again, fungus and viruses always find a way. They always find a way. And it always like, and I was just sitting there like, oh God, the fungus is going to get stronger and it's going to get better and it's going to take over bigger things. And oh God. And that just fucking, that does something to my brain.
100 men or one gorilla. Well,
we played this. We learned how to do this in How Many Dudes? W game, by the way. We learned that it takes couple of zombies, you know, some medics.
And so we're going to have to look at our fighters for the most anticipated cage match of 2025.
Oh, yeah.
And in the red corner, standing at an impressive
this
6
guy
feet
is scary.
tall and weighing a ridiculous
800 toddlers.
220 kilos, we have one singular silverback
Hell yeah.
gorilla.
Yes, sir.
Stepping into the ring to settle the score against humanity.
Again, I don't think there is an army of toddlers that you could assemble large enough to fight one silverback gorilla. I don't think there is.
For what we did to Harambe, this fighter is bringing some impressive physical strength, capable of lifting up to 800 kilos of weight.
Damn.
Meaning that if it gets its hands on
Holy.
you, a gorilla is more than capable of picking you up and doing you the same way that Hulk did Loki.
Yeah, Hulk Loki. Jesus.
Now, on top of being stronger than
Fast and
Eddie
long.
Haul, they also have an unreal reach advantage.
Oh my God.
With a fucking 2.6 meter wind.
An 8 feet reach? 8-foot reach is sickening, bro. you damn. Damn, that's almost 2 freaking Jinxanaris tall, bro. Holy shit.
Span, which is a fairly major problem because a right hook from a gorilla produces 2,700 pounds of force. To put that into perspective, the human skull shatters at 1,400. So if Winston hits you with a haymaker, your head is gonna pop like a fucking watermelon. And
I
with
love
the
that
cage
clip.
fight following the Mortal Kombat rule set, we can also factor in the gorilla's bite. Because despite being a pretty gentle...
I didn't know gorillas bit as like a form of combat, like to like try and hurt things. That's fucked up.
Herbivore in the wild, they have one of the highest bite forces on the planet at 1,300 psi. That is 100 psi more than a polar bear. And now with our fighter statistics out of the way, let's get down to business. Can our gorilla win a fight against the 100 average men in the blue corner?
Yeah.
Place your bets. Let's see who comes out on top. Yeah, look, I'm going to keep it real with you. Even with those stats, Winston here is getting bodied. I'm sorry, he's going back to the spawn room. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
What?
Directly to hanging out with Harambe in heaven. 100 people, it's just too fucking many. He's getting jumped. However,
he is getting jumped, but like...
a few with him. My guess is one guy runs up and gets swatted across the cage like a toddler.
Is that from Hoodwink?
Take a few.
This is from a Hoodwink, isn't it? I love that clip. Bam! Now the gorilla is gonna win again. Okay, so here's the thing. Before Parz goes on his reasoning, this is my thing. It's not gonna take much for, like, it's not gonna take much for like him to hurt the people, but it's gonna take a lot more for the regular guys to start hurting him. Like, that's a thick-ass skull. That's a lot of muscle. And again, it would have to be a lot of clean shots to the head. A lot. And with no weapons and stuff like that, if you punch a gorilla, like, in its head, like, more than one time, you're going to have, like, a broken hand. And the same person that lands those shots on the gorillas and gets those broken hands is not going to be the same person that goes in, tries to double dip, and tries to hit the gorilla again in the head. So, like, I'm wondering, literally, if, like, there's going to be enough in them.
Shatters his ribs against the bars. Second guy gets grabbed by the leg and given the Hulk treatment. About 6 other guys cop swings to the head and die instantly from broken necks. One dumbass is probably going to try to hit him off the top rope and get done the same way that Omni-Man did Nightwing. But at that point, the crowd probably jumps in and realizes that there are still about 90 of them, and it's over. Not that the fight even needs to happen, but it wouldn't be the first time we lost a gorilla to human stupidity.
Yeah. The thing is, monkey and gorillas use their full muscle strength, but as a result, have poor fine motor control. You go for the eyes, it doesn't matter how strong the skull is. I guess that's fair. I guess it just takes enough self-sacrifice on the road to the eyes.
This is the deadliest snake in the world. Introducing the inland taipan, and being the deadliest venom noodle in the world, I will give you exactly one guess as to where it's found.
Australia.
It's Australia, of course it's fucking Australia. Be so serious here. Where the else did you think you were going to find it? Canada? More specifically, as the name suggests, the taipan is found inland in the outback. Luckily, extremely far from civilization. Because this homicidal hospital hose is the definition of size doesn't matter. Because despite having extremely small fangs for a venomous snake, coming in at only 6.2 millimeters.
Look at those little guys. He's got little grains of rice up here. He's got little grains of rice up here just for these little biters right there. But man, that honey coming from there is
the taipan is here to show you that you absolutely can feel less than an inch, because those fangs contain the statistically deadliest snake venom on the fucking
Yeah, no good.
planet.
No. Pickle no good.
Yeah, taipan venom is a pina colada of pain, containing but not
Ugh.
limited to hemotoxins to cause blood clots, myotoxins for paralysis and necrosis,
Oh, hell no.
nephrotoxins to shut down your kidneys, and three
I think this showed up in our other
different
compilation,
kinds
but
of
we're gonna let it ride.
neurotoxin. Needless to say, if it bites you, you will get a headache, vomit up the
I
entire
don't want a
contents of
headache.
your stomach, collapse
Okay,
to the
well,
ground
maybe that's a
in
little
agonizing pain, and then your heart and lungs will stop, sending you to meet God in under 15 minutes.
Okay, well, that's plenty of time.
And that venom is so
That's plenty of time.
potent that one bite contains enough toxin to do that to 100 people. But the
Okay, well,
funniest
maybe.
part of this snake's venom is
Okay,
that
well, maybe
in
that's
the
not good.
wild, they only hunt rats and f***ing mice. The deadliest venom on the planet, and they are using it to pack up Remy the rat. It's like hunting a rabbit with a f***ing AWP.
That's the cutest
Yeah.
fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Nothing wrong with that, you know.